Welcome back to I've Got Something to Tell You with Taylor and...
Colleen.
Yay.
It's been an experience.
It has. It took us like 50 years to get this set up, but it's fine.
Once again, it's only been a year.
Only been a year? Over a year.
Over a
Who's
year.
counting? Depends what we're talking
Why
about.
are you judging us?
I don't know. Not me answering. Anyway, okay. We have some stories to get into, so we need to go over some stuff really fast.
Real fast.
We got a live show.
We sure do.
When is it?
The 28th of May. This month. But if you're listening and you're new, it might be over by the time you get to it.
2026.
Yes, May 28th, 2026 at Jared's. It's a Thursday at 6 p.m.
Get crazy on a weeknight, okay?
Yeah,
we are.
Come get some coffee.
Come get caffeinated.
Yeah, we are.
Also, this will be our first show with what is it called again?
A projector.
Yeah.
Taylor's pumped about this.
I'm so excited.
Thanks.
I haven't decided what story I'm doing yet, but I already told you I'm basing it off of what will be the best pictures.
What visuals?
Cinema.
Yeah. Cinema.
It's going to be pure cinema.
I have a pull the plug rule of if it gets too scary, I'm sitting next to the plug. I get to control the clicker.
I feel like we should have a neutral source like Norman controlled it.
I feel like he'll be on your side, so...
We love to scare
I don't feel like that's neutral.
Okay, maybe Samantha.
Yeah, Samantha.
Samantha got your back.
Yes, true.
But anyway, so that's our live show coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything else?
I mean, the only other thing is just a gentle reminder. Please rate, review, and subscribe. Like,
Gentle.
Do it.
What?
But it just helps us. Like, we love doing this, but it does help us if you like it to show us some love because it gets us a little bit more exposure.
And we just like to see it. Like,
Yeah,
we
and it
like to
makes
see
us-
who's listening.
Yeah, it definitely makes us excited to like see when we have like Taylor will be like, we got another review. And I'm like,
I know. I'm
"Really?"
like, aw. But yeah, I feel like the messages, it's fun, like, seeing those too, just to be like, because I mean, we see numbers.
Sure, yeah.
So it's cool to see the voices or however you want to say it behind the numbers.
It's a little cool to see a little star come up, you know.
The star, yeah.
It's much appreciated.
We appreciate the 5-star.
Much more so than the 4 stars.
Not just a star.
Yeah.
5
If
of
you give
them
us
in a
1
row.
star.
Then get out of here. We don't want you here.
They're not even listening, so.
That's true. They're probably on episode 1 and they're like, whoa.
The giggles, too much.
Well, they keep going. Spoiler. Just gets
They
worse.
don't stop.
In the beginning, we were like, it's just because we were nervous, but it
True.
never stopped.
No.
Mm-mm.
I don't think we also realized how much we giggled until like it was like on recording.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I know. I didn't realize how much I laugh, even when it's like not funny.
Ouch.
No, not towards you. It's almost like the millennial, like, you know, the sentence we always have to put LOL.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like
yeah.
I really LOL after every sentence in real life.
Yeah.
And so do you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's because you're genuinely funny.
So are you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
5-star me.
5 stars.
5 stars to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tell all our friends. Okay, anyway, let's get into these stories because you got a long one that I'm really excited to hear because you had me watch a little prequel thing. And I have a part 2 for you of the San Pedro Poltergeist.
This is my highly requested part 2.
Yeah, I was so excited that you requested it. I was like, Colleen requested for me to do something. So
Well,
like, I have to do it.
Because I remember in the first part you were like, and it followed her. I was like, followed her where? For how long? Like, I had so many questions. So I'm super excited.
Okay, well, so we're going to start off with a little recap just in case someone's tuning in, even though if you just go back 2 episodes, because our last one was the rewind and something, but the one before that was part 1. Okay, so Jackie Hernandez moved into a small bungalow in San Pedro in 1988, hoping for a fresh start with her young son while pregnant with her daughter. But not long after strange activity began, Objects moved, doors opened on their own, and footsteps echoed through the house. As things escalated, Jackie and her son witnessed shadow figures, heard loud noises from the attic, and experienced terrifying apparitions, including a corpse-like elderly man standing over her son's crib.
Hate that.
The situation intensified when messages like Al, who was her husband at the time, and Get Out appeared inside the home, and a foul-smelling blood-like substance began seeping from the walls. Okay, I have an update on this, and this was kind of on me. Actually, it was 100% on me. So I heard them say this, but I was like, I didn't know it was backed by testing. So they actually got that substance tested, and it was blood.
Ugh.
And it was the blood of a man.
I love that.
So I thought that was kind of crazy, because I heard them say, they're like, no, it was blood. I was like, who says?
Yeah. Who's to say?
But no, they actually got it tested at a lab, and it was blood and a man's blood, but obviously, like, they don't know who. Mm-hmm. So weird as fuck.
Yeah.
So desperate for answers, Jackie brought in investigators led by Dr. Barry Taff. During their investigation, they documented violent activity, cameras malfunctioned, objects were thrown, and photographer Jeff Beecraft was physically attacked in the attic and nearly strangled by a clothesline.
Which I saw the picture.
I was really proud of you.
Thank you.
Because I was like, she's not going to post it. And then I was like, oh my God. She actually Googled it and got it herself.
I did. I'm a proactive bitch.
I love that. I feel like
it
Colleen
really,
a year ago would never.
Oh my.
So
yeah. No. It's definitely creepy when you know what it is. But
yeah.
I kept just telling myself, I don't know, that's just a man in an attic. Which, that doesn't help. But
just a man in an attic. That's not creepy.
No. But, okay. Never mind. Keep going.
I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I first saw it, I was like, what is he doing? And I was like, I need to see what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I researched the story. So, after a final violent incident that left her baby marked and her home in chaos, Jackie fled. Well, her baby was fine. It just, they had a red mark. Like, they didn't
that's
see
when
anything
she
happen. Yeah.
literally was like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, the disturbances reportedly followed her to future homes, leaving the case one of the most unsettling and unexplained hauntings ever documented. So, when we left off, she was done, and they moved. So, in the fall of 1989, she and her husband attempted to patch things up. They moved to Weldon in Kern County and tried to start fresh. There, Jackie's fears began to fade. She said, within a couple of weeks or so, I felt really comfortable being there. I thought I had left the ghost back in the house. I thought everything was going to be okay. Mm-mm. I like how she just said it. I thought I left the ghost back in the house.
Yeah. I didn't pack that thing up.
I definitely didn't bring him.
Yeah.
But she says her relationship took a turn once again. Her husband left, and she found herself living in a remote area with few neighbors. And I don't think I mentioned, but it was like a trailer, kind of like in the middle of nowhere.
Oh.
Then Jackie claims the hauntings returned. When she and two neighbors moved a TV into a storage shed, the three of them saw an image of an old man on the screen. TV wasn't on.
No.
And they said it was the same man that Jackie had seen in the San Pedro house. All of them described the eyes being the most, like, intense and creepy. And they also said it didn't look like a reflection. Like, I don't know. They explained it like he was, like, on the TV, but it wasn't, like...
Like, inside of it?
Yeah, almost like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I kind of imagined it. Like, he looked like... it maybe, like, not a glare on him. That's what I'm guessing. But... So, that night, she says she was kept awake by someone pounding on the inside of the shed. Sounding like someone was trying to get out.
Oh, my God.
So, she called the paranormal investigation team once again.
This is what happened last time.
I know.
This
The bubbles.
I was going to say, this story gives you gas.
Oh, you're right, because it was the same way. It does. So, okay, she calls the paranormal investigation team again. They arrived late one night and entered what Jackie describes as a maelstrom. Is that how you say that?
Maelstrom?
Mm-hmm.
Spell it?
Maelstrom.
Think so.
Okay. She said that in the interview, so I couldn't change the word. I was like, I don't know how to say it.
What does it mean? Like a maelstrom?
I don't know, but it sounds like chaos to me.
Okay.
I put my own meaning to it.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure I pronounced it right. Didn't really care what it meant. I'm just kidding. Anyway, Norman, cut all of that.
Don't.
So, super creepy. They set up the cameras in the shed and walk back into the house where they would watch from the inside. So it's like her backyard door. It's like a sliding glass door, and they can see the shed. So about 15 to 20 minutes later, they realized the camera was panned all the way around facing them.
Oh, no.
I know, that gave me goosebumps when I watched it.
Yeah, like, I feel like in, like, Paranormal Activity, like, I mean, I feel like that's a basic way to compare it, but, like, doesn't it, like, mess with the camera and, like,
I don't know.
turn it to, like, its face and stuff? Like,
I know saw all the Paranormal Activities, right?
Yeah, but I feel like I only really remember bits and pieces of them because it was so long ago.
You probably just remember the traumatic parts.
Yeah.
So one of them.
Well, I know at the very end where it's like the girl like comes back in the room after she like. Do you remember the end of the first one? And she's like comes up to the camera and it's like her face. Oh my God. They love a camera.
They're like me. They're such a pick me.
Well, I'm not going to be talking crap about it. You guys are stunning. You deserve. I will paparazzi you. I just don't want you messing with me.
Don't mess with us. So anyway, the camera turned all the way around, and the ghost was like, "I'm watching you now."
Yeah.
So they could not get their video cameras to work. Something kept switching off the equipment, and it was weird because it only happened at night, and then they said as soon as the sun comes up, it starts functioning fine.
Oh.
So, since their equipment wasn't working, they decided to try out your favorite.
Spirit box?
The Ouija board.
Oh, what? That seems like a wild jump.
Well, because nothing electronic was working. So they're like, well, we could use a Ouija board, because they can't really fuck with that.
I feel like that's the most fuckable thing.
I mean, if they're trying to get a reaction, might be a good one. You'll see, though.
Okay, I'm immediately regretting my request.
So, as they began, she recalls their table began to shake. The board explained her haunting is what Jackie believes. So, those answers are contained in part of the scrawled transcript she says she made during the session. So, the first question was, how long have you been trapped in the spirit world? Or, like, in whatever, the house, whatever it's following her.
Mm-hmm.
It said 60 years. Did you die in the San Pedro house? No. Where did you die? San Pedro Bay. Did you drown? No, I was held underwater. Did you live in the San Pedro house? The answer was my murderer lived there.
Okay.
So the ghost also mentions hanging a member of the paranormal crew, referring to Jeff. And it said because he looked like the murderer. So that's why he's like pointing, because it keeps messing with Jeff.
Right. Because it was messing with only Jeff and Jackie, right? Like when they had all the investigators in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is more, okay, Jeff's point of view, because this is during like his interview where I wrote this part. So somewhere during the middle of all the questions, Jeff says he feels something grab him and lift him up, and he says it feels like a giant boxing glove hitting him.
Oh my God.
Sending him into the wall. After this, he's out of there, but he said as soon as he gets outside, he feels almost like something is compelling him to go back in. Everyone around him even said that he looked like strange. But I was like, I mean, he just got thrown by a gun.
Paranormally attacked, yeah.
But what I was thinking, what they probably meant was it reminded me of East Valley Paranormal when the spiritual hijacking. Remember they said she was making like a strange face.
Yeah.
But to her, she wasn't making that face. So I almost wonder if it was something like that.
Yeah.
Who's to say though? So he says that obviously all the electronics malfunctioned, so it didn't record anything. But in the interview, he also says, even if we captured it, nobody would believe us. They would say it's rigged.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie says the ghost also revealed that he had been born in 1912 and died in 1930. And with that information, her and her friends later discovered old newspaper reports of the death of a seaman, Herman Hendrickson, whose body was found floating under a pier on March 25th, 1930. Hendrickson was 10 years older than the age indicated on Jackie's transcript. He had a jagged wound on the top of his head, and the coroner ruled that he had drowned. Authorities determined that the seaman had not been murdered, but had sustained the wound when he fell off of a dock. So they don't know if that's him or not. Like, the description matches, like, the ghost that they saw. Because I can't remember if I put that in the last story, but I know I said his skin was, like, gray. He looked, like, drenched. But he also had a head wound.
Oh, okay.
So, but he also wasn't murdered. So they're thinking there's more than one ghost. When they were communicating, there was more than one spirit, and the second ghost was identified as John Damon, who they learned built the bungalow from San Pedro.
Mm-hmm.
And they assumed that this could also be the man that they saw above the crib. Okay, so rewinding a little bit, pre-Ouija board session, Tina Lawler, her neighbor, began babysitting for Jackie, and Tina started experiencing the hauntings as well. And she said after seeing it happen in real time, she would stay with her a lot just for support, which, good friend.
Yeah.
Like, who would do that?
Not me.
At least you're honest. I mean, I knew you wouldn't. But
I mean, like, let's set realistic expectations.
Let's be real.
I don't think you would want me to do that either.
You make it worse.
Yeah,
I'm just
I know.
kidding. So she said there would be red slashes on the wall that would sometimes spell out Jackie.
Mm-mm.
And then Jackie would just paint over it every single time. She's like,
live in
it's
denial.
fine. It does it all the time. She also said at one point she went to take a picture through like an actual camera, like looking through the lens. And she said what she saw was like a skull. And she dropped the camera and screamed. And she was also present during the Ouija board session. She said when the table began shaking, she saw Jeff slump forward before he was thrown against the wall. Which, again, makes me kind of think, like, I wonder if something took over him in that moment. Before this happened, she said some of the communications were saying that this entity was trying to protect Jackie's baby from Jeff, because it really thinks Jeff is the murderer. And I don't know why specifically the baby, though. So this spirit hated Jeff and was clearly thinking he was someone else. And during this interview, like, her voice is, like, shaking. Like, she sounds really scared being interviewed. So after this happened, when Jeff was thrown against the wall, Tina took the kids over to her house, and she was the neighbor. It was, like, really close by, to sleep, because they were afraid to go back in, which I don't blame them. She said the next morning, so she had a crucifix on the wall, and the next morning, the Jesus on her crucifix had been removed from the cross.
I hate that.
I know. I hated it too. Nothing religious.
It's anything where it's like it turns the cross up. And not that we're not that we're religious at all. I'm just saying.
Creepy.
Yeah,
the idea of it.
It's a symbol that just freaks me out.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a great symbol.
It's not great for anybody involved. Not for Jesus or anybody.
Exactly. So Jackie stayed in the Weldon trailer until the summer of 1990, when she ended up moving back to LA. So that night, again, like, when the sun comes up, everything starts working again, and it's just like, what are you gonna do? They don't know. So naturally the ghosts followed, creating havoc, but beginning to taper off at her friend's home where Jackie stayed. They think the ghost of Herman Hendrickson like after they found out like what happened to him, because they did like the research and stuff, they think that he like left. Like he was good. But so the ghost that followed them, they think was
the other one,
John Damon.
Mm-hmm.
So Jackie says John Damon made a graceful exit. While visiting in San Pedro in the spring of 1990, she saw a ball of light, bright enough to be visible in daylight, outside the house where she was staying. She followed the light to a nearby graveyard where it hovered over a stone marking the grave of John Damon.
What?
Which kind of crazy. She said this ball of light went around and around the grave and then just disappeared. So after this, she says her daughter doesn't really have any memory of the hauntings, but her son at one point was thrown against a wall, which really sad because he's little.
Yeah.
And she said that he has some trouble sleeping, but other than that, he's okay. It's just like, okay.
Love that.
I'm like, I want to hear from him.
Yeah. Let's ask him when he's older.
Yeah. He's like, no, most traumatizing thing in my life.
Yeah, it sucked. What are you talking about?
Okay, and then I was telling you this before we started recording, but there's a completely different name in this article, and I think in part 1, it's her friend that helped her out, and I want to say her name was Susan. I forgot to check back on part 1, so if I'm wrong, whatever. But her name is actually Christina, and so she says she's still frightened by the haunting and does not like talking about it. She believed that the haunting had permanently changed both her and Jackie. She says she has become more religious, while Jackie, in quotes, overreacts to everything. She's throwing some serious shade.
Yeah, geez, Christina.
But then she says Anne sunk into total neurosis.
I'm sorry.
And not that they have to say this, but they have also drifted apart.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
And she said that the haunting is the only thing they have in common.
Ouch.
I know. It's kind of rude.
Right?
So Jackie, who now works as an office manager for an accounting firm, or at that time of the article does, I don't know if she does anymore, she says she sees things differently. She said, I'm more scared of dying than I was before, because she believes the ghosts who found her were living in hell. But she adds, in hindsight, I think I was fortunate to see the experience firsthand, something that most people will never see. Okay. Weird way to look at it.
I mean, I can appreciate a silver lining, but also I could live without having that experience.
I wasn't sure how I felt about that.
What do you mean?
Because her, like, kids were affected, so I'm just, like, a little weird to... I mean, I get it, but it's also, like, it makes me wonder if she kind of enjoyed it a little bit.
Yeah.
That's saying that, but it's almost like...
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I don't think that there's anything wrong in, like, having both sides, like, having a view on it of, like... Because we've talked about other... you know, cases and stuff where people have certainly exaggerated it for attention. So I think that there has to be some level of like skepticism, especially when somebody's having that type of like reaction where it's like, well, it was an experience I wouldn't change or something.
Yeah.
It's like,
or I could see her too, like say it like, I mean, still could be exaggerated, but say it like really happened, but maybe that kind of like opened up something for her and she got a little obsessive with it. Okay. So I feel like it could go both ways, like either way, it's still kind of an attention thing, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's to say we weren't there?
I know. I wasn't there.
I wasn't there either. We love to say that. But anyway, we'll take a break and then we'll get into Colleen's story.
Yes, sure.
And we're back.
We are back. And Taylor, I've got something to tell you. But okay, so as we mentioned at the top of the episode, Taylor technically knows what I'm doing, but she also, I felt comfortable enough.
I'm like, I do? Kinda.
That's why I said technically. Because I was like, it'll be easier for us to have a conversation about part of this story if you can visualize it.
Yeah.
And then I'm still gonna like walk through part of it, but just so I don't have to
get the gist.
Yeah. All right. So Taylor, I've got something to tell you. And I was inspired to do this story because we're in a current time where there are a lot of terrible men on reality TV.
True.
I said we have West, we have Dad Talk, all the men of Southern charm.
Jax, who got kicked off reality TV. We could go on.
We could go on. It literally never stops.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you about the OG, Rodney Alcala, otherwise known as the dating game killer. This man was an unknown, at the time, active serial killer that not only appeared on a show that is meant to set up women on dates, but he won it. And so Taylor has seen this clip. So we're going to get into it. But for the people that have never seen The Dating Game was a popular TV show that started in the 1960s. It's been rebooted multiple times up until even most recently, 2021. Actually, with Zooey Deschanel, but it got canceled after like 7 episodes. We love Zooey Deschanel, but I think it's just a rough show.
I think you gotta just let it be done.
Just let it die. But essentially, it's a dating game where there is a bachelorette and 3 bachelors. The bachelors are hidden behind a wall, and the bachelorette will ask them a series of questions and then pick one at the end to go on a date with. So it's like blind dating. It's Love is Blind.
I see what they did. They rebranded.
Honestly, everything is a ripoff of everything.
I do love Love is Blind.
I do too.
It's so good.
The men on there are problematic as well. But
that show is problematic, but I love it. Anyway.
Okay, I also found this interesting is that some super famous people have appeared on The Dating Game, including Steve Martin, Tom Selleck, Farrah Fawcett, Suzanne Summers, Burt Reynolds, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and even Michael Jackson.
Damn.
So some of them obviously before they were famous, but others. Michael Jackson's been famous since he was 10, so sure it was well after he was well known. But so it's a huge show, and the host is Jim Lang, and he would open the show by introducing the 3 bachelors to the audience before bringing out the bachelorette. Now, this brings us to our episode of The Dating Game that we're covering tonight. And as we know, me and Taylor have both watched this. You can view it on YouTube. But it is 1978, and Jim Lang introduces Bachelor number 1. And this is the direct quote of the introduction as he's introducing us to Rodney Alcala. Bachelor number 1 is a successful photographer who got a start at the age of 13 when his father found him in a dark room fully developed. Between takes, you might find him skydiving or riding his motorcycle. Please welcome Rodney Alcala.
Yikes.
And now that you've seen the episode, it's a lot of play on sexual innuendos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe he said he wants to be like a banana.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. So right after that introduction, Rodney is hit with the spotlight, and I'll tell you how I described him. Rodney looks like a dude that belongs in the 70s. He's not like unattractive, but he gave me like Kelso from That 70s Show vibes. Like, just looks very over the top 70s. Like,
yeah, looks alone. Yeah.
Yeah. Long feathered brown hair. He has bell bottoms, He
has like a velvet blazer thing on, I think.
Yeah. The other 2 contestants are Jed Mills and Armin Tayami. And our bachelorette is Cheryl Bradshaw, whose intro is this. She once made a living massaging feet, but she quit when her boss suggested she work her way up.
Come on, man.
Because in the 70s, sexual assault is hilarious, right? Yeah, that is how they introed her. The show was pretty scummy with how they would talk about the women, but in general, it's a lot of like skeezy,
bad
sexual innuendos.
Yeah.
But so Cheryl is a drama teacher, but did you catch that she's from Phoenix, Arizona?
I did not hear that.
Yeah, she's from Phoenix, Arizona. And so the episode goes on and Cheryl starts asking questions. Her first question is to Bachelor number 1, Rodney. And she asks him, Bachelor number 1, what's your favorite time? Rodney responds, nighttime. Nighttime is the best time. And again, it's playing off like he's trying to be sexy, but it's
coming off creepy.
It's so creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like they're feeding them lines sometimes, or they're like telling them to like be this way, but it's so cringy.
Yeah.
But of course, the questioning goes on. I feel like she starts looking like so uncomfortable. Like she's a stunning woman too. She's got this really big smile. She's smiling the whole time, but like there are just things.
She's a drama teacher, so I think she's faking it.
Oh, 100%. And we'll talk about that at the end because I feel like there's a part where she breaks that like acting part. And then, so one of the questions she also asks, she cues up by saying, I'm a drama teacher, so I'm going to test your acting abilities. And she tells the guys she's going to assign them characters to act out. Rodney is assigned a dirty old man. He immediately begins grunting and telling Cheryl to come on over here.
Ugh.
Literally, that's what he does. Like, it's just like it. He didn't go dirty. Like, he went dirty old man and like creepy dirty old man.
He's like, oh, I got this.
Yeah, done. Say less. Been practicing my whole life.
I don't even need to act for that.
Yeah. But he also looked very pleased with his performance as this character.
No, he did. Yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, I would have been like a little embarrassed after making
the
that
other
noise.
And the other guys look a little bit like, are we really doing this? And he's just like eating it up.
Yeah.
He loves the attention. Okay, so now that you kind of know how the episode is going, in between the questioning and kind of like before the episode or before the airing, the bachelors and bachelorette get breaks, but the bachelors are like on their own. Bachelorette is separated from them. Mm-hmm. So Rodney is interacting with the bachelors, and Jed Mills, who is bachelor number 2, says Alcala was obnoxious during this time. He even told Jed at one point he always gets the girls. Like, he would interrupt the guys, like, was rubbing people the wrong way. And Jed vividly remembers him just being creepy. Jed also said watching the episode back that he was so creeped out that you can visibly see him leaning away from Alcala during the taping.
Oh.
In the end, Cheryl picks her winner, bachelor number 1, Rodney Alcala. Before she gets to meet her winner, they reveal the other 2 to her. I found this super uncomfortable. So the way I read it is there's two ways you could view this, but I also have a bias because I know who Rodney Alcala is. I was like, either these guys are just upset about not getting picked, or they genuinely look like worried about the fact that she's going to go on a date with this guy.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they keep like, as the guy is like as Jim Lang is like introducing them to be like, come up and meet the guy that you didn't pick, they keep like side-eyeing Alcala, like, you really, like, you picked this guy, like, you don't know what you're in for, kind of. That's how I read into it, but again, I'm biased because
you already know the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said it didn't read like disappointment to me, it read like concern. So finally, Rodney is revealed to Cheryl, and they are set up to go on. Their date is going to be a tennis date that the show is going to pay for. They're going to get lessons from a pro, followed by a day at Magic Mountain. But they say this is like, there's 2 things that happen when Cheryl sees Rodney. First, she looks at him, and then she kind of like looks at him again, and then she immediately distances herself from him.
Okay, I kind of noticed that too.
You know, like he keeps trying to touch her, and she like keeps going like that, like shoulder, like, get off of me.
She stopped smiling.
Yes.
And I think because she was smiling so dramatically through the whole thing, it was like easier to notice. But he was like real close to her and like grabbed, like they were like an actual couple.
Yes. So I'm glad that you picked up on that, because that was something that I noticed too, is like her face just looks like, because she has, again, this like big stunning smile the entire time.
And she's keeping it like light and fun and stuff.
And then she like, the second he touches her, it is like that like grimace. Kind of like, I'm trying to smile to like not show, but like, please don't touch me.
Yeah.
You know?
She's reading that energy.
Exactly. So Jim sends them both backstage to get to know each other. And after that, Cheryl goes to producers and refuses to go on a date with Rodney.
Right after that?
Right after.
Oh, crazy.
She pulls them aside and she's like, I'm not going. I refuse to. This guy is creepy. I'm not getting, like, I don't have a good feeling.
Dang.
She said that she cannot be alone with him. She was creeped out and continued, like, they keep trying to be like, no, like, just go on the date. We're paying for it. And she's like, absolutely not.
Good for her. Stick to it.
Thank God she did, because Rodney does not just have red flags. He has a list of priors. Turns out, Rodney Alcala is one of America's most prolific serial killers. He is believed to possibly be responsible for hundreds of murders, many of which are still being looked into today.
Dang, hundreds?
Hundreds.
That's crazy.
It's freaking nuts. Okay, so this is where we're going to put on our pretend hats. Okay, so in the 70s, there was no protocol for background checks for television appearances. But if there had been, let's just go into what producers of The Dating Game would have found. So again, putting on our pretend hats. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to pretend we're Dating Game producers, and we're putting together a file of Rodney Alcala. And this is what we would have found if we had done any just minimal amount of research. Okay. Rodney Alcala was born in 1943 in San Antonio, Texas. He had 3 other siblings, and by all means, strangely, just because we know these guys normally come from some sort of traumatic background.
Yeah.
But by all means, his home was very loving. There were no reports of like abuse or anything, as we hear so often with many of these like stories. Mm-hmm. But his father did move the family to Mexico in 1951, where his parents decided to split. Still, that happens all the time. Mm-hmm. Nothing too crazy. After the split, Alcala's mother moves the family to LA. Alcala was described as extremely academically gifted. He was also super personable and popular. He graduated from an LA private school and was even on the yearbook planning committee and lacrosse team. In 1961, Alcala joined the Army at the age of 17. This is where we would start making marks with little red flags, though. Mm-hmm. During his time in the Army, there were several reports made about Alcala, including subordination, manipulation, as well as several occasions of women coming forward reporting inappropriate behavior.
Oh, no.
By 1964, Rodney had enough, and it was described as he had this like nervous breakdown where he went AWOL and hitchhiked from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where he was stationed, and showed up unexpectedly at his mother's house in LA. Again, highlight this part of his file. Mm-hmm. Rodney did turn himself in for going AWOL, but instead of being jailed, they, like what they would normally do for desertion in the Army, mm-hmm. he was discharged after a psych evaluation that diagnosed Alcala with antisocial personality disorder. - chronic and severe.
- psychotic.
So, antisocial personality disorder is a chronic pattern of behavior that disregards the rights and well-being of others with a weak or non-existent conscience.
Okay.
I've also heard this called the serial killer's disease, which doesn't mean that everybody with antisocial personality disorder is a serial killer. It just means that, like,
it's easier for them to
it's basically
go
like,
down that route.
It's like they don't know, they choose wrong. You know what I mean? Like, they choose the wrong path knowing it could harm somebody. It's from, like, how I understood it. Mm-hmm. So, like, they know what they're doing is wrong, but they're still going to choose it.
And they don't feel any kind of way about it because they have their little disorder.
Mm-hmm. Their little disorder.
Like, whatever it's called.
Yeah. But, I mean, we're everybody has their own thing, but I'm just saying. So like it's kind of like every serial killer might have some sort of like some sort of this.
They have some diagnosis.
Some diagnosis. I mean, you kill people, you ain't right in the head.
There's something not right.
Yeah. So after quote unquote recovering from this breakdown and discharge, Alcala by all means returns back to being very personable. Again, he was very popular. Like this is what's so nuts about him is like everybody describes him as like really charming.
That's interesting.
Until you get like too close. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Okay, so he's at UCLA and he graduates with a bachelor's in photography. And in 1968, again, this is where we bring the red pens, flags, whatever we need to mark up this file because this is going to be his first documented attack. I emphasize documented because there are so many that they are still looking into. And this one is going to be rough, as many of them are, but it is going to be on an 8-year-old girl. I'm going to tell you right now she survives, but it's still horrific. Okay, so 1968, 10 years before the dating game. 8-year-old Tolly Shapiro is living with her family at the Chateau Marmont in LA. One day she's walking home from school and a man pulls up beside her asking if she needs a ride. She initially refuses, but the man tells her that he knows her parents and they asked him to pick her up. I'm assuming at this point in time there was no like stranger danger type of training for children, so she's like, okay then. While this is happening, a nearby angel, Donald Haynes, takes note of the incident, thinking it's strange to see a young girl seemingly hesitantly getting into a grown man's car. He notes the type of car and decides to follow it. Little does he know, he is following our very own Rodney Alcala and is about to save this girl's life. Rodney and Tolly pull up to Rodney's house after being discreetly tailed by Donald. Now that Donald has a location, he finds a nearby payphone and calls the authorities. There's one police officer that shows up, and he knocks on the door, and he's knocking, and it's taking a long time for Rodney to answer the door. And when he finally gets to the door, he's only like somewhat dressed and claims that he had just gotten out of the shower. The police guy asks him about the girl. Rodney claims not to know what he's talking about, but then they hear it, and it's a low cry from inside the house. He goes in to find Tolly. The police officer goes in to find Tolly in a pool of her own blood with signs of sexual assault and a steel bar over her throat that Rodney had been using to suffocate her. Rodney flees. And this is what's really rough is like, by every account that I could read is the police officer said that he had two options. He could save this 8-year-old girl or go after the guy.
Yeah.
And he chose to save the girl.
Good choice.
Yes. So he calls for backup. She is rushed to the hospital. She is in a coma for over a month.
Dang.
She loses the ability to walk. It takes her it is a traumatizing experience. Tolly has an episode of I Survived and mercifully claims that she does not remember anything from the attack. Which, like, kind of a gift. Yeah. In my opinion. Because that, maybe also because you're 8 years old, I don't know if I would have, like, a great memory of things that happen.
Well, I feel like your brain blocks out trauma.
Oh, for sure. And that's going to come back later. Okay, so this is just the beginning of Rodney Alcala, though, or at least the first documented attack. Because, again, this man is horrifying. Okay, so the police have a name from searching the home, Rodney Alcala. They have his name, the name that he used 10 years later on the dating game.
That's insane.
Like,
it's crazy that, like, nobody knew, but also it's crazy that he was like, I'm just gonna go on live TV.
I feel like what happens. With these guys, especially to the level that he is, it's almost a power move. Because what we'll see later on is like he's in the middle of like a full-on spree when he just puts his face on TV. And you're gonna be extra
disgusted.
Yeah. It gets bad real bad.
Gross.
Okay, so Rodney is on the run though. And he moves across so he knows that they would obviously have him. They're in his home. They know.
Yeah.
He knows. So he ends up moving across the country to New York, where he enrolls in NYU under a false name, John Berger. Which,
come on.
Don't let a man pick his own name.
Also, why enroll in school? Why? No, you didn't have to do that.
You didn't. Again, I feel he's also extremely intelligent. Like, he had a wildly high IQ. So, like, I feel like he also maybe it was like a little bit of like hunting grounds, you know? But so he enrolls in the film program and studies under Roman Polanski.
I don't know.
Okay, I didn't think you would. Okay, so I'm just going to say that there are some crazy connections. It's also the 70s, which is like peak serial killer time. But
no Ring cameras?
No, well, but he has some crazy connections to some of the like biggest, like Alcala does, of like some of the biggest like serial killers and stuff. So Roman Polanski, right, was a very well respected Oscar-winning director. He did Rosemary's Baby, The Pianist, like the list goes on and on and on. But he is also most notably, well, in my opinion, most notably, because his wife was Sharon Tate, who was murdered by the Manson family.
Oh.
So.
That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
I'm not going to get too sidetracked, but there's also going to be some other weird connections that Alcala has to some super famous murders here in a bit. But okay, so he's in New York studying at NYU under the alias John Berger. And every summer between classes, he starting in 1969 to 1971, he starts working as a camp counselor at a children's summer camp.
Gross.
Yeah. He's on the run for assaulting a 8-year-old girl and almost murdering her. But he can work at a summer camp.
No background check there either.
Well, he's under a different name.
They just got fake IDs and everything.
But yeah, I mean, it doesn't make it okay. I'm just saying.
No, I mean, it is the 70s, so I guess I don't know what they're...
Yeah.
I mean, okay, anyway.
Anyway, so at summer camp, he is actually described as one of the most popular counselors. This is only just speaking to like the facade that this guy can put on. He's adored and celebrated by the kids. But like we said, keep in mind, he's hiding after the rape and attempted murder of an 8-year-old girl. So could you even imagine being one of those kids looking back on it now and being like, that was my counselor who I loved?
Ew.
Disgusting. So then, speaking of which, that he's on the run, the police are still on the hunt for Rodney Alcala, and one of those police officers, and this is a little shout out for Samantha, because so one of the officers is Steve Hodel. Steve Hodel is the son of George Hodel, and George Hodel is a primary suspect who's never been convicted, but many are convinced is the man behind the Black Dahlia murder.
Oh.
So Steve Hodel is going after Rodney Alcala, who is related to the man that they think did the Black Dahlia murder.
That's crazy.
Isn't it nuts?
Yeah.
This all just like blew my mind. So yeah, so back on track. The police are looking for Alcala, and Steve Hodel convinces the FBI to put Alcala on their most wanted list. And so they start posting pictures of him across the country. Back in NYC, Alcala is living under the alias John Berger and doing his summer camp job, but he is still a psycho, and so we got to get our pen out and start marking our file, because by 1971, 8 years before the dating game, we have our first documented murder. In 1971, Alcala/Berger was known to approach women and offer to photograph them. He studied photography and would basically use his charm and looks to get them to agree. And this is when he meets, so he's just walking around the streets of NYC being like, you're stunning, let me take your picture. Let's go to the secluded space. Like, ugh.
Yikes.
So he meets 23-year-old flight attendant Cornelia Crilly. It's believed Rodney approached her with this photography line, took her back to her apartment, and murdered her. On June 12th, 1971, Cornelia Crilly was found dead in her apartment, strangled to death with her own nylon stockings. Her face had been beaten in. Cornelia had also deep bite marks all over her body.
Ew.
And had been visibly sexually assaulted. So because it was 1971 and forensics were limited, nobody tied this murder to Rodney until 2011 when it was finally connected.
Dang.
Yeah. I will tell you later how this has, and this and so many others get connected, but just letting you know, like, timelines of he's murdering people, these were all happening, they didn't know it, but it's going to come back later. Hint, photography has a part to do with it. Okay, but so first documented murder, so far we're still 8 years from the dating game, and we have an attempted murder of a child, 2 assaults, and so many red flags. Now, Rodney is on the most wanted list with pictures of him being posted all over, including post offices. And in August 1971, 2 of the campers that Alcala had been counseling under the alias John Berger go to the post office where they see their favorite counselor's face on the FBI's most wanted list. They report it saying that this Rodney Alcala guy sure looks a lot like their counselor, John Berger. And I'm going to have to go fast here, but Alcala is arrested and extradited to California to be tried for the attack of Tolly Shapiro. So they put it together. This John Berger guy is Rodney Alcala. But due to the trauma that Tolly had experienced, Tolly's family had relocated to Mexico and refused to have their daughter relive the trauma that she again thankfully claims to not even remember. They're not going to whatever's blocking it needs to stay blocked. We're not going to have her relive it. But without the primary witness and victim, the court doesn't prosecute Alcala with attempted murder. He is just charged with child molestation. Still awful, but vastly different sentences.
Yeah, than it would have been.
Yeah. Which the family has every right to protect their kid.
Yeah.
And the prosecution probably could have found it. I've read so many things about this where it was like lazy prosecution. Like,
yeah, I was going to say, like, did they really need her?
That's what I mean. It's like the officer saw.
The officer was there. He saved her.
Like they had enough evidence. It just seems like, again, lazy prosecution.
Yeah.
So he is sentenced to 3 years for what he did to this girl.
Crazy.
She was in a coma for over a month. Like it took her months to learn how to re-walk, and she was 8 years old. Like this man is a monster. So he gets 3 years. He does not even serve 3 years.
Oh, he charms his way out of it.
He just a little, yeah. He gets out just a little less. It's 34 months, but still insane. And then he gets paroled in 1974. 1974, 4 years before the dating game. Less than 2 months after his release, Alcala was rearrested for picking up a 13-year-old girl in Huntington Beach on her way to school. He lured her in by asking if she wanted to see a pretty picture. He assaults her. It is believed that he would have also murdered her, but when he picked her up, he drove her to a park, made her smoke a joint before he started assaulting her, and thank God, a local park ranger came by to investigate the weed smell and caught him before things could have gotten even worse. For that attack, he served 2 years and was released early.
My God. They're not like, oh, there might be a connection here. There's this girl and this girl.
Yeah. So after the second release, Alcala is put on the sex offenders list in California. Got to get the highlighter out for the file because after the release, Rodney is spotted with Pamela Lampson, at Fisherman's Wharf. She is 19 years old, believed to be lured by Alcala's promise to take her photo. She was found on October 9th, mutilated and assaulted, just like Alcala's other victims. DNA could never connect Alcala directly to this murder, but due to sightings and consistency with other attacks, police feel confident this was Rodney Alcala. And then for some reason, in the same year, during the summer, Alcala's parole officer approved him. So in the same year, after he's just been at least prosecuted for 2 documented attacks on children, well, we also know in the background he's killing people.
Yeah.
He gets approval from his parole officer to travel to New York City. This is a man who shows that he has clear repeat offender tendencies.
Yeah.
And is a flight risk. But sure, take a vacation.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Forget about it.
Go ahead, Burger.
Burger
bitch.
Burger bitch is not even the best. Burger bitch ass bitch face. I hate him. Okay, so Snaggletooth bitch. Whatever, I don't care. He sucks.
Frizzy-haired motherfucker.
Yeah, get yourself some conditioner.
For real. Have you ever heard of a blowout? You gotta look up the video to see.
Yeah, we'll post pictures. This guy sucks. Okay, so the parole officer approves him to travel to New York City. During this time, they connect Alcala with other deaths. This one's nuts. Ellen Hover is a New York socialite and the goddaughter of Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh my God.
She was approached by a man named John Berger, who said he'd take photos of her and asked her on a date. She told friends about the date plans, but after was never heard from again. Her date book also had the date listed on July 15th, 1977, and John Berger as the name. So Alcala.
Wait, so she actually died?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So her body, so she disappears. They don't find her body for a while, but like it comes back. I promise you. Okay, so after the killing of Ellen, Rodney heads back to LA where he starts a job at the LA Times. This dude is wild. He just walks in and demands a job at the LA Times.
Literally.
I was like, but yeah, so he gets a job at the LA Times under his name, Rodney Alcala. He has been tried and prosecuted for 2 attacks and assaults on children. But sure, he's a man. Give him a high-paying job with 0 background checks or questions.
Yeah, so nowhere takes background checks, I guess.
It's the 70s,
You don't work
dude.
with kids at a camp?
You could do whatever you want. Honestly.
Crazy.
Okay. So no, while he's working at the LA Times, Alcala was mostly known around the office as actually very likable. And he would share stories because he would tell them about how he spent time in New York and and that he would run into celebrities, that he was this like fashion photographer. And so for the most part, he actually came off as kind of like a really cool guy, kind of like showing off. And this is the thing that's always like really rough with these guys is like people talked about it. It's like he was so charming and personable. Like, and it just seems like they study how to.
It's like a mask, I feel like.
Exactly. But then there was also another side of him at the office because during his time at the LA Times, Alcala was also known to show off his photo albums to coworkers. And this photo album was full of photos of naked little girls.
Oh my God.
Which they just would write off as Rodney being an avant-garde photographer. And that maybe they just didn't understand New York style art and photography because it was just so ahead of their West Coast style. Because I guess also it was like shot to maybe look like kind of artsy.
Like professional. I guess.
But like it's little girl.
Yeah. Because it's like obviously you see like for adults, yeah. not little kids.
But
not blaming them, because they wouldn't know.
But I feel like it's also like a gaslighting tactic to be like, well, you just don't understand art. You don't understand New York art.
And I feel like, again, like you're saying, how he's like not really kind of seeing how far he can push it.
Exactly.
He's like, no one's gonna notice.
Yeah. Like, he loves it. Like, he wants to parade it around. You know what I mean? That's why he goes on TV.
Ugh.
Okay, so we're going back to our file. It's tons and tons of things we've now we should be concerned about before casting this man on a dating show.
Yeah.
But that also brings us to now 1978. So everything we've already covered brings us to his appearance on the dating show. He gets rejected. The woman does not want to go on a date with him. People attribute that rejection to his escalation. That her being like, he's so creepy. Like, it's almost like the mask came off.
Oh.
And he couldn't fool her. So this leads to his 1978 and subsequent year berserker mode.
Oh, no.
Moments. I'm not going to go into every single thing, but just know, even though I might not go, I'm going to go into as many details that I could possibly stomach, but just know that these are horrific. This man was an absolute monster. He had no rhyme or reason for what he was doing. It is terrifying.
Yikes.
But so after his appearance in 1978, Rodney starts to spiral. He goes on a full-on spree through California. But what makes it even sicker is he is not just killing people. He is full-on posing the victims to be found. So we're going to go through the list. Again, there's some that may not be listed here, but might be attributed to Alcala. But I'm going through the ones that at least I know were confirmed through him. Okay. So Jill Terry Barcombe. Jill is 18 years old, originally from New York, and her body is found on a dirt path near Mulholland Drive in Los Angeles. The way she is found is horrifying. Her body is naked from the waist down. She is positioned with her knees pulled up towards her chest, almost folded onto herself. Some of the things I read is she almost looked broken. She had been sexually assaulted, she had been beaten, and she had been strangled with blue rope ties. She had 3 bite marks on her right breast. So already we're seeing the combination of sexual violence, strangulation, beating, biting, and then the positioning, I feel like, has to do with the photography in some way. At first, though, going back to Alcala's weird connections with some of the biggest murderers in true crime history, the police actually thought this might have been the work of one of the Hillside Stranglers because of the level of brutality, and they were also active in the area at the time. I know you don't know who the Hillside Stranglers are, but for my true crime people out there, another list of things that he was associated with. Later, her case was separated from that investigation, eventually tied back to Alcala. Our next is Georgia Marie Wickstead. Georgia is 27 years old. She was a nurse living in Malibu. The night before she was found, she had been out at a bar and drove another nurse home. She didn't show up for work the next day, and people were immediately concerned because she was extremely reliable. Police went to her apartment and found signs of forced entry. Inside, Georgia is found naked on her bedroom floor. She had been strangled with her own nylons. Her skull had been bashed in. She had been sexually assaulted, and her genitals had been mutilated. Yes. Her body had been deliberately posed on the floor. This means that this person, whoever did this to her, Alcala did this to her.
Yeah.
He had stuck around and made decisions on how he was posing her. Yeah. Investigators later described it as carefully chosen. Charlotte Lee Lamb was 32 years old and a legal secretary from Santa Monica. She was found in the laundry room of her apartment complex in El Segundo. She had been sexually assaulted, she had been beaten, she had been strangled with a shoelace. When she was found, her hands were placed behind her back. This was not just a body left behind. This is another woman left in a controlled position in a shared space of her own apartment complex where someone else was going to find her. Later, DNA from the scene would match Alcala. Even more disturbing, a pair of earrings are found later in a different location.
Oh.
June 13th, Jill Marie Parento. Jill is 21 years old. She works as a computer key punch operator. She leaves work early to go to a baseball game. Never go to a baseball game. And when she doesn't show for work the next morning, police go to her Burbank apartment. There are signs of a forced entry. Jill is found naked on her bathroom floor. She has been sexually assaulted, beaten, strangled. There are pillows placed under her shoulders, almost like for comfort.
So weird.
He staged her. He took the time at the scene. And then Robin Samso is 12 years old, and this is June 20th, 1979. Robin is 12 years old. She disappears in Huntington Beach while riding her bike to ballet class. This time, there are witnesses. Kids at the beach remember a man approaching them asking to take their photos, and they describe him to a T.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guess what he looked like?
Mm-hmm.
Long hair, real 70s looking guy.
Frizzy.
Yeah, almost like you had seen him on the dating game before. But he had camera, and he had a camera and seemed very friendly. But so at this point, like, things are starting to close in on Rodney because back in New York, investigators have now connected the name John Berger, the man Ellen Hover told friends she was going on the date with, that he's not some random guy. It was an alias that Rodney Alcala had used. So they're starting to put things together.
They're like,
that really basic name that seems like a basic bitch would come up with. Yeah.
Because didn't the kids at the camp also tell somebody too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't know if it was like after the fact.
Yeah.
Or they...
And he was on the FBI's most wanted list. So, like, how did we not? My goodness.
Crazy.
Okay, so at the same time, though, that the New York and this I also think is, like, part of why the 70s was a problem, is because people are not speaking to each other.
Mm-mm.
I feel like that was a huge thing with the Zodiac. But anyways.
Yeah, now I see why they say there's all these murders in the 70s. I get it now.
Yeah.
It was just that they could get away with it.
Exactly. But so also in California, investigators are looking at this string of murders, and they're seeing the pattern, the same type of, like, approach and, you know, murder scenes and the posing and everything. And now they have something they didn't have before with the Robin case, is they have a witness. So kids at the beach describing the man with long hair, carrying a camera, approaching them to take their photos. They put a sketch together, and that sketch starts getting circulated. It lands in front of someone who should have never let this man leave the state. Rodney Alcala's parole officer. So he's like, hey, this guy looks like the guy that you guys, like, that we've turned in multiple times.
Yeah.
And we just keep letting go for some reason. But so they bring him in, and at first it looks like it's going to go the same way it always has. Rodney explains that he admits, yeah, he was at the beach. He was taking photos. That's what he does. He's a photographer. Like, technically all true. They also at one point ask him to take a lie detector test, which he politely declines, which legally he can, I guess. But then 12 days after they bring him in, so they let him walk. So they're like, well, we can't, like, we have witnesses that say you were there, but, like, we can't just...
They need more than that for that event.
Exactly. So 12 days after the Robin disappearance, her body is found in the foothills of the San Gabriel Mountains. She had been beaten. raped, and murder. So now, combined with the witness sketch, the timeline, and his prior history, they do finally have something enough to hold him. So Rodney Alcala is arrested in July of 1979. And that should have been the end of it, but it's not. Because once he's in custody, investigators start digging into everything connected to him. They start looking through his apartment, belongings, everything. And that's when they uncover that something that just changes the scope of this entire case. This is where we find out the hundreds.
Mm-hmm.
They find that Rodney had a storage locker in Seattle. So they go to check it out. Inside the locker, they find thousands of photographs of women and young girls. Some are in highly questionable and disturbing poses where they can't actually tell if they're alive or not.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing they think is, how many of these women are just being photographed versus how many of these women are victims? In addition, they find women's jewelry, like the earrings. They find clothing. It's almost like an archive of victims from Alcala.
Mm-hmm.
But it's literally like a needle in a haystack. Like, sure, they have these photos and jewelry, but they still have to connect these photos to names to open cases.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a mess.
Yeah.
And also, clearly, Alcala hasn't just been in LA and New York if he has a storage locker in Seattle.
Yeah.
So they don't even know where these people might be
like where
located.
To start.
Yes. It is a literal freaking nightmare. Okay, but in July 1979, Rodney Alcala is finally arrested and sentenced to death. So he is tried for the string of murders in California and in the deaths in New York that they can connect him to.
Mm-hmm.
But as we know, he doesn't just get killed right away. He does end up living until 2021.
Damn.
Yeah. He died on death row of a heart attack. His final official victim count was 8. But he is believed to be connected to almost 200 deaths.
That's crazy.
And
that's really sad that they couldn't find out who the other people were.
So in 2010, the Huntington Beach police released 120 of Alcala's storage locker photos in hopes to try and identify the victims.
Oh.
I know.
I get it, but also...
and it's I feel like this was their last resort. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because remember, it's in 1979 that they finally discover this,
mm-hmm.
but it's not until 2010 that they're just we don't know, we need help.
Yeah.
You know? So they only release 120 of the locker photos, but there's approximately 900 additional photos that cannot be made public. To me, that says that's just
how bad it is.
Yeah. Most of the victims still remain unidentified. So that closes our file on Rodney Alcala. Do you think he deserved to be on the dating game?
No. He doesn't deserve anything. I hate him.
Yeah, he is dark.
Yeah, because you sent me that video to watch, and it was on YouTube, obviously, so you can see comments, and one person wrote, can you imagine... And I mean, I don't watch a lot of true crime documentaries, so I don't know how much stuff is out there
there's a lot of stuff, yeah.
Where you see, and before anyone knows they're a serial killer and they're on something public like that.
Oh.
But it's just thinking how many people walking around today is just like that, and we don't even know.
And I think it's also with that one, and this is why I think it captivates people so much, is without knowing who he was, just watching it. Because I sent it to you with you knowing I'm doing true crime. So you were immediately trying to guess
which one it is. Yeah.
But if you didn't know, he does kind of just seem they all are just kind of weird dudes.
They are. Yeah. And I told you I thought 1 and 3 had a creepy vibe. I thought 2 was just kind of nerdy.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, you don't know about the other guys. They might have some weird stuff, too.
Exactly.
They might not have thousands of people that they killed.
Right.
But you never know.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Rodney Alcala, the dating game killer.
That was crazy.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Who's worse, West or Rodney? They're equal.
Damn. Wait, but did you see the thing that his cousin murdered his grandma? Yeah. The timing is crazy.
Do you think he had him do it just to like get the heat on? I'm just kidding.
Like,
I'm just kidding.
Take one for the team. My friend commented on the post and she was like, arrest West too.
Guilty by association.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Sad.
Thank you for the story, Colleen.
You're welcome.
So that wraps up our episode today. Thank you guys for listening. If you want to follow us on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, you can follow us at
IGSTTY pod. We already said it.
That was my fault. I went off script. I'm just kidding. Or you can send us an email at
rgsttystories@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. You can send us a story or you can just say hi. Either one.
Yeah,
we are grateful.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening.
Later.